Hello. Hello, everybody. Good morning, afternoon, evening. Can you hear me? First, let's check that. I don't go live very often, so want to make sure that everything is working first. So I guess if you can hear me, say hi. Okay, yes, great. I see. Perfect. The chat, I can see you. Great. Okay, and you can see my screen. You can see me. You can see the slide. And you can see chat. Yes. Perfect. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to this live stream. As I said, I don't really stream very often. So I think it's such a treat when I get to come on here, especially since I don't upload very often, if you're familiar with the channel. So it's really, really cool to get to say hi to you guys. Hey, Understory, Sunny, Keegan, Masa, Gabs, MXR Codes, Mr. Ab, thank you so much for being here. Okay, today we are reviewing your ideas, thumbnails, and titles. We got a bunch of submissions. We've selected a bunch of different types of videos, different size of creators, different niches. So we're gonna have like a really great variety of different ideas, titles, and thumbnails to look at. And the goal of this stream is to give you guys an idea when we are looking at a video, an idea, title, and a thumbnail, what philosophy, what frameworks do we use to evaluate one? And this is what we use to evaluate our own ideas, titles, and thumbnails. This is what we do when we're looking at other people's channels. And hopefully just want to give you guys a little glimpse of what that looks like for us. And so you can hopefully apply some of it to your own channel, even if your particular video is not chosen today. Some ground rules first. Can we submit now? At this point, I'm sorry, it's going to be a little too late to submit. We've already chosen some ones, but keep an eye out for the next time. The VOD will be on the live tab of the channel, so it'll be there for you to review whenever you would like. Okay, so some ground rules first. 1, I have my producer Joel here. He's a mod in the chat, and he's also here backstage with me. Joel, I'm going to add you to the stage. This is Joel. Joel, say hi.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Excited for this.
Awesome. So Joel's going to be here. He's going to be supporting. You'll see him in the chat. I might bring him on stage here and there just for an extra opinion. But be nice to Joel. Joel has been with the channel for a long time at this point. It's been well over a year, and like a huge reason why we're able to make the videos that we're able to do is because of him. So he's awesome, and make sure you show him all of the appreciation and support that he deserves. That's one. Okay, ground rules in general. Basically just a quick do and a quick don't. Do, provide your own thoughts. Like, yes, I'm going to be looking at titles and thumbnails and ideas and providing my thoughts, but I would love to see what you guys think of the videos that we present too. And just like any inspiration that you have, I would love for this to feel like almost like a really big mastermind of sorts where, yes, I'm here, but all of you have been doing YouTube for quite some time, I'm sure as well. I'm sure many of you have really insightful things to suggest. So could absolutely contribute. Love that. And then a quick don't. Do not beg for your video to be reviewed. So we got a ton of submissions. Unfortunately, we're not able to go through every one. We've picked a number that we think that we can go through. If your video is not being shown, we just ask that you don't beg for your video to be reviewed. If you do, you'll get one strike, one warning, and then a timeout. So don't do that. But as long as everyone's aligned on that, we can get going. Okay, nice. Thanks. All right, Joel, I'm going to kick you backstage. Bye. All right, let's do this thing. I guess before we start, though, I know everyone's very excited to get started. Before we start, I must tell you about 90-Day Breakthrough. Pitching anything is always very uncomfortable to me because I'm not a sales and marketing gal. I make videos because I like to educate, not because I like to sell stuff. So this is not a pitch. It's just me telling you that this exists. So over the last, I don't know how many number of months, the team has all been working on 90-Day Breakthrough, which is a cohort-based program. It's a 12-week long guided YouTube program to help me make meaningful progress across those core skills that matter most for long-term growth. The core skills that we've identified contribute most to success on YouTube. And these are kind of what those core skills are. So there's commitment and consistency. There's, creative taste and strategic eye, which is your ability to understand like why things work the way that they do. Video recipe development, so coming up with your own signature format for what videos that you create. Idea quality, because ideas, as you're going to see today, everything comes from the idea. So really working on your ability to understand and generate and filter quality ideas, your skills at video creation, overall community support, and finally being able to create a single video that you are most proud of, your signature work. And we do this through 3 phases, and each phase has guided lessons, live support, weekly assignments, and accountability. This is kind of every single week will follow the same rhythm. So you watch a video lesson from me that drops every week. Then there's also a couple different live sessions that we have during the week, and you can get live support from your team lead. We'll talk about leads in a sec. You get to submit your assignment at the end of the week, and you get to receive personalized feedback on every single assignment that you submit. And yeah, every single week we'll build on the last one to build a lot of momentum as we go through. If you're like a visual person, this is what this looks like visually. So Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific, everything works in Pacific time. So wherever you are in the world, just keep that in mind for if it might be the right fit for you. 9 a.m. Pacific, assignment goes live. Mondays, we have a creator care session, because growing on YouTube is just as much of a mental journey as it is a physical one, as a strategic one. So we have like creator care sessions with our head of creative well-being on Mondays. On Fridays, you have your Q&A with your dedicated team lead. And then on Sundays, you would submit your assignment. Also, every 4 weeks, there's going to be an all hands with April that happens where you can ask direct questions to me. And everyone's divided into teams. So you get to move through 90-day breakthrough with other people at your same stage, whether you're just launching your channel, like brand new channel, you're just starting, or you've been doing this for a while, but you're pre-monetization, or you've been doing this for a while and already have traction, you're more intermediate. And then there's also like a different tier for me being your team lead. So you get direct access to me every single week. And yeah, that's basically how things work. Place on a team of creators at your same stage, dedicated team lead, end of each phase, also a meeting with me and the community that's there all the time. So just an FYI, we've been working on this for months. Enrollment ends in 7 days. There's a link to apply in the video description, I think also in a pinned tweet. And I know a lot of you have been asking for different ways to work with me. And while I don't offer one-on-one consulting, this is kind of the program that we have. So yeah, that's it. Just wanted to let you know that this exists, and thank you. With that to be said, let's get started. Let's start looking at some titles and thumbnails. I see a question here. Hi, can't stay the entire stream, but applied for review. Nope, there's not gonna be any notification, but the VOD will be here in the channel, so you can feel free to look at it later on. Okay, this first one, how much is the program? There's 2 different tiers. The core tier is $19.50 and the executive tier is $39.50. And that's for the entire 12-week program. Okie dokie. Woohoo, thanks so much, Plant Princess. Okay, let's do it. Here is the first title and thumbnail that we are going to be looking at. And this is from, who is this from? This is from Thomas. Thomas, if you're here, say hi. If not, that's okay too. And this idea, so Thomas said that this idea is a retrospective on Super Mario Galaxy, dissecting the game to fully understand why it's recognized as one of the most memorable games within the something. Okay, that's what we have here. So that's what his video is about. And then this is his title and thumbnail. So it's why Super Mario Galaxy is perfect, and the word perfect here. Okay, let's think about the idea first. I guess before I kind of give my thoughts in the chat, do you guys have any thoughts on this idea as a whole? I'll give you a second because I know that there's a I don't know, some number of seconds delay on the stream. If no one has thoughts, that's okay. I'll just jump in. But when it comes to the idea itself, Bernander says, I like the yellow, no stakes. I think I like this idea. I think a video essay dissecting why a certain game is particularly good or not, I think that type of idea has done really well in the past. I know it's done well in the movie video essay niche a lot, of like why a specific movie is great or perfect or memorable. One that comes to mind that Joelle showed me earlier is, let me see if I can, give me a second. Let me pull something up on YouTube and figure out if I know how to. Okay, hold. If I manage this, you have to clap. Okay, pause. We can see this. All right, claps. Okay. Thank you, Joelle. This is a channel called The Cozy Kino Show, and this particular video kind of gives us similar vibes, which is the moment Avatar: The Last Airbender became a masterpiece. So I think that there is validation across the concept of a particular piece of work being deemed as a masterpiece or perfect. And so I think when it comes to that validation of the idea, I quite like that. Okay, let's go back to this. So on the idea stage, I like it. Now let's think about the packaging itself. When I say packaging, I mean title and thumbnail. A couple things come to mind. I guess also I'll say on the idea stage too, not sure if Thomas was thinking about this when he made this idea, but I know that I think a new Super Mario movie is coming out soon. I don't know if it's specifically Super Mario Galaxy, but another Super Mario movie is coming out soon. So I think that the timing of this video, if you can get it out before that movie releases or like while that video is releasing, is a great timing of this as well. Okay, now let's think about the packaging. So why Super Mario Galaxy is perfect, and then we have perfect with a Mario and a little star guy from the game with the Mario font of perfect. Thoughts on this packaging? When it comes to the title, why Super Mario Galaxy is perfect, I think that is solid. I think that it does open this curiosity gap. It evokes the question, why is Super Mario Galaxy perfect? So it's evoking curiosity there. I don't know if I love the word perfect because it feels a little bit broad. Like what part of it is going to be perfect? Like the gameplay, the art design, the story, it feels a little bit vague to me. I think I liked the Avatar: The Last Airbender one I showed you a little bit earlier because I think of two things. But the Avatar one is at the moment Avatar: The Last Airbender became a masterpiece, and so there's a little bit more curiosity about like the moment of it itself. And I think the word masterpiece helps. It's a bit more specific than just perfect. I think the word masterpiece gives this connotation of like the work of art itself being a masterpiece, versus perfect can apply to so many different things. And so I would consider using a different word perhaps in your title there. Additionally, I don't love repeating the word perfect in the title and in the thumbnail. I think you can maybe get across one. So like, for example, like why Super Mario Galaxy is a masterpiece, or like maybe something around it being like the best game ever, or an iconic game, or an S tier game, or like something around it kind of rising up the ranks of like around the world of games. And then I think the word perfect in the thumbnail can work well with that. Let's talk about main characters and supporting characters in the thumbnail. I like to think about thumbnails as having a main character, which is like the main thing that you want people to look at, and supporting characters, which are other things that help support the curiosity gap that you're trying to open, that maybe people like recognize a little bit after they recognize the main character. Right now, the main character of this thumbnail is the word perfect. why is it the word perfect? There are a couple of ways you can draw attention to things in the thumbnail. So one is going to be like brightness. So it's like the brightest thing on the thumbnail. So our eyes go there first. It's also on the top, and we tend to read like left to right, up to down. And it being like the very first thing that you see up at the top makes your eyes go there first. And I would say that we probably don't want that to be the main character. For this type of video, the main character should be Mario himself. There's this concept of familiarity bias, which is that we are drawn, or like we stop our scroll on things that are familiar to us. And Mario himself has such an iconic IP, but we don't get to use the benefit of familiarity bias because we don't see his face. So I would flip him around. I would flip around the star guy too, so we can like clearly see these characters and brighten them up a little bit so that they are the main character and the word is the supporting character. So those are kind of base thoughts on this title and thumbnail that I have. I'm going to read through chat a little bit because I know you guys were putting a lot of thoughts in there, which is great. Oh, Tony's Philcom. Hello. Great to see you. I've been loving your journey. I follow you on Instagram. Hello, hello. Okay. Taps into the nostalgia. I think Super Mario Galaxy. Okay, this is like, I'm not a gamer, but I think it's a new game, right? Like a newish game, new in the last like couple years. Okay, good. Colors are a bit harsh. I agree. I do think that the colors are a little bit harsh. Like it's a little bit too bright in like the middle of this nebula. I agree there. Okay, movie is linked to Mario Galaxy, so great timing on the idea selection for sure. Okie dokie. Luminosity contrast, good. I agree. Yeah. Potentially the perfect game, question mark. I do kind of like that. Like potentially we don't even need Super Mario Galaxy in the title. Like potentially we could just say the perfect game. Nice. Okay, cool. Joelle, I'm not gonna bring you up. I feel like we covered a lot of things. If you have anything else to say, you can say something in the chat and I can bring you up. The game's from 2008? Which game am I thinking of that's newer? There's like anyway. All right. Great job, everybody. Thank you so much, Thomas, for submitting your video. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okie dokie. Boom. Mario Wonder. Thank you, Raphael. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have this one. And this is, how much protein do you really need? Science first marketing. Great. Let's talk about the idea itself for a moment. Thoughts on idea. I like this idea a lot. The creator said when they were describing the video idea, they said, different influencers are pushing recently to a higher protein intake for people, almost 3 times above what official guidelines suggest. I first checked out how much is needed and how useful it is to consume more, then checked on health-related risks, and finally, I talked about the marketing and how they are a real risk to our health. I really love this idea. Why do I love this idea? One, I think that overall in like the ecosystem of the health world, there's been like a huge trend, I'm sure everybody has seen it, of protein-related products. Like they're putting protein in everything. There's like new protein sodas at this point. I'm sure you could find protein toothpaste if you really wanted to. I feel like everything is just so oriented toward so much protein. And I like this because if we think about the TAM, which stands for total addressable market, this is a kind of measure for what the ceiling of an idea is. Something that I learned from Patty Galloway, who's a great friend of mine, love his accent, is the idea sets the ceiling and the execution determines the result. And so if you think about this idea itself, the ceiling is set pretty high because almost anyone, if you've been somewhat interested in health or food, you would know that there's a really big push in protein right now. So really, really like this idea itself. Now let's think about the title. How much protein do you really need? Science first marketing. I quite like this title. I think that like the science versus marketing, I don't know if that would be my first choice in terminology there, but I do really like this angle of science versus marketing because we've been marketed so dang much and the science is probably something really different. I think that it's really clear. I think when you look at this title, you know exactly what type of video you're going to get into, and I really like that. Now let's think about the thumbnail. And I think the thumbnail is really when we have the most room for improvement here. I think that we have this, let's kind of break it into main character, side character. Right now, I think main character is the person themselves, the creator themselves. I think it's Cynthia. And that's who we see first. And then we see, it's kind of hard to make out. It's like, they kind of look like desserts, and then it says no. And what I really want is instead, we want the main character to be the protein related product. And especially because you're thinking about marketing, we want something that is marketed as protein that may otherwise typically not have protein. So things that come to mind, I know I said like protein soda, like there's protein, like maybe protein water, maybe like protein candy, but we need to have the marketing on it. The fact that these products are unwrapped right now, it's like, no, I want the packaging. I want the packaging on the thing. I want the thing that says like extra protein or protein added on the bottle, on the bar. Like I need to see protein. So that's what I would want. And I wonder if, I'm trying to think of like if there are creators who tend to do this well. I'm kind of blanking. But like that's yeah, I want some sort of like main packaging around that thing. And I think like that can even be the main character. Ooh, there's a thumbnail from Mr. Who's the Boss that pops into, no, from MKBHD. I think it's either from MKBHD or Mr. Who's the Boss. It might be from Mr. Who's the Boss. Okay, hold. Don't go anywhere. I need to think. I need to find it. Joelle, do you know which one I'm talking about? The one that has the piece of sugar really up close and then his eyes in the back. I realize that you're not on stage and I can't hear you, but maybe let me look it up. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. I guess I can show you what I'm doing. Maybe Joelle found it. He said not sure, but looking now. That's okay. Let me remove this and share this. Okay. Let me look at Mr. Who's the Boss. There's this like iconic thumbnail. I'm thinking this one. Yeah. Okay. So potentially something like this, I'm thinking for this thumbnail is like a really obvious like protein marketed product up here. And that's up close. And maybe you can have like the arrow up to it that just says no. And then you are in the background as the side character, look like as the supporting character looking at this thing. So this is the kind of thing that I'm thinking about for something like this. Joelle also, ooh, I like this. How do I show people this? Save image. I don't know how to do this. My producer Joelle shared this image. I don't think I can put images in the chat, but this is dope and I like it. Let me see if I can try to put this out somewhere. If not, oh well, that's okay. But see, this is why, no, I'm sorry. I can't show you this, but oh, you have a link. Sweet. Oh, okay. Well, I'm new to streaming, but follow that link and there's a thumbnail, like a really interesting thumbnail there too, that like that sort of concept could work very well for this creator. So there we go. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Anyone else have thoughts on this thumbnail? Social hacking with a popular brand of protein desserts for familiarity bias. Definitely agree. I think that they're, especially if they're like very well-known brands that are like very like protein heavy, I think that could definitely fit. Okay, perfect. Let's go to the next one. This one is from ENROLLING, and it says how to build unshakable self-worth and start receiving love in abundance. So very different type of video here. I think we had like a couple of video essays or like breakdowns to start off with. This is a very different type of video. Let's think about this idea. So this creator said for this idea, she said, the video is about teaching people how to build unconditional self-worth so they believe they are worthy of them and allow themselves to have what's already available to them. Great. Let's talk about this idea. So I think that the idea itself is, I think, solid. I think that the concept of like wanting self-worth is something that's pretty universal, has a pretty higher TAM. And yeah, I think that a lot of people want self-worth. This feels like kind of like a girly pop type of idea as well, especially if you have like a female audience. There's a lot of women who are struggling with sense of self-worth. So I do love this as an idea. Title and thumbnail. And this kind of goes with the idea as well. I think the topic of self-worth, I think, is strong. I love the word unshakable. However, I think we're missing some sort of angle on this because right now, and this creator I know is a smaller creator, and you just think about the question of why would someone want to watch this video maybe over any other video that is on the topic of self-worth? Like, why do they trust that what you have to say is important? Yo, Mario, good to see you. Okay. I think that some sort of angle on top of this would help to elevate this idea and make it more watchable and more curiosity inducing for other people. So for instance, like how to build unshakable self-worth as a blank. So it could be like in your 20s or as a, I don't know, like unemployed or underemployed individual, like something along those lines. Like what is a different angle that we can pop on there so that when people see this, they're gonna be like, oh, that feels like me. I should click on this video. And I do think that there's this concept of also like potentially, it's tough, I think, when it's a lot of how-to videos. You have to trust that there's underlying credibility in this creator, that anything that they say is going to be worth listening to. There's this concept of like, what is the risk of clicking on a video? And if you don't know who the creator is and they already have a very like limited number of views, the risk of clicking into this video and giving them your time is high because you don't know that you're going to get something out of it. Versus maybe just how I built unshakable self-worth in my 20s or as a blank, then it's like, okay, it helps de-risk this click for me because dang, Mario, I love that you're here. I'm guys, if you don't know Mario is a freaking genius. He's like probably the leading industry expert on all things retention. And he's just incredible. And I'm nervous. Mario, I'm nervous for you to be here. I feel like I'm presenting in front of a teacher. I'm like, oh, I wonder if Mario agrees with what I have to say. But I'm glad that you're here. And I'm glad you like the idea of as a. So yeah, it's like how I improved how I built unshakable self-worth in my 20s. And like, okay, they have more credibility, de-risks that click because I know that she's already done it. Maybe I've seen other framing, like, you know, I'm 25. Here's how I build my self-worth in my teens. So it's like, okay, I'm already here. I already have this expertise, and based off of that, here's what's like we're going to do. So hopefully, Ying, if you're here, you can kind of see this difference there between just the idea itself of like how to build self-worth versus popping at a different angle there to make it more clickable. So that's thoughts on title / idea there. And then let's chat about the thumbnail real quick. Main character. So again, if we think about main character, supporting characters, where do our eyes go first? Our eyes go to her first. Then I think our eyes go kind of to the left of that image. Then eyes kind of go across the text, but it's kind of hard to read both of these text phrases. They're small and they don't really have a lot of contrast with what's behind them. And then I think I look at that image on the right more, like last. I can't really tell what it is unless I really look very hard on it. Okay. I think that when I look at this, I do think that this overall composition could work, like her being there and some like images that represent self-worth behind her so you can like instantly see it. I think that the one on the left kind of gives that feeling. I would say that the one on the right, it doesn't really feel self-worthy to me. Like, yeah, there's this girl. I can't really make out her features at all. She's kind of dancing, but I think some different, like more in your face concept of self-worth, like maybe like being taken out on a date or like a gorgeous piece of jewelry or something else to give the feeling of self-worth, I think would be a stronger image there. And Keegan just said too much text in the thumbnail as well. Definitely agree. I would say the text like above and below, it's going to be too much. Claim what's yours now, also at least to me, kind of reads like an ad, like 2 days left, claim what's yours now, which I don't think is the vibe of this video. So I would not use that terminology there. I think you deserve everything you desire. I like that more than claim what's yours now for sure. So I would probably put that text, pop it up, make it bigger, and have more contrast between that and what's behind it by like maybe adding like a solid color bar behind it to help make it pop a little bit more. But those are overall thoughts there. Joel, it seems like you have stuff to say, so I'm going to bring you onto stage. Everyone, applaud for my producer, Joel.
Hey everyone. So no, I just want to make a note on thumbnails because a lot of great thumbnails I'll like use like that split screen before and after. And I wanted to note that that's really powerful, but it can be just enhanced and made more powerful the higher that contrast is between that left and right, and just how clear and immediate it is to the person. That's why we see a lot of these thumbnails sometimes show, let's say if it's a good sleep versus bad sleep, they'll show like deteriorated skin, they'll show like a blue hue, and it looks really exaggerated sometimes, but what it's doing is just really enhancing that contrast between like a good night's sleep versus a bad night's sleep so that you can understand that message at a glance. And so I think that's something good to keep in mind when you do these before and afters is like, okay, how can I make sure that someone views this quickly and can understand that this is a before and after, even without the text? The text and other elements enhance it, but even without it, how can I tell this is a before state versus an after state? And ideally, you want those two states to be that before state be somewhere the viewer's at right now potentially, and that after state is a desire of like where they'd like to be. That's when they really work really well.
Yes, love that 100%. I think for this particular thumbnail, I don't think this is even a before and after. I think I can't tell if the one on the left is supposed to be a before. Ying, I see you in the chat, so maybe you can like add more context there too. But I do think that this is definitely an opportunity to show a before and after versus just two similar pictures showing self-worth. So yes, like what CryptoFox Gaming was saying too, for sure. Everyone, great work. I feel like we crushed this one. I feel like you guys also got like a really good handle on some of the improvements that we can make here. So great job, everybody. Yay. And thank you also for your contributions. Mario, thanks for being here. All right, let's get to the next one. This one's really fun. I like this one a lot. So this is from Owen something. I think. And it is, can I animate Lego blindfolded? Okay, let's talk about this idea. Owen described this video idea as a video where I animate blindfolded. Awesome. Very straightforward. Joel, I'm going to kick you backstage again. Everyone say goodbye to Joel. All right. There you go. He's gone. Okay. This one is something that I want to do something specific for and show you something about it, but we'll get there in a second. So idea, I like this idea. Can I animate Lego blindfolded? It's like, cool. There's like a specific challenge here. We know what he's going to do. Sweet. I like it. The only thing that I would need to double check on is, do people understand what the concept of animating Lego is? So, but this, like, there's a world where this is like an untapped niche that I'm just not familiar with. So let me look and I'm just gonna type animate Lego and just see if other people. All right, Lego animations, 13 million views 2 years ago. Cool. That is enough validation for me that the TAM on this, like the total addressable market, is high enough. If 13 million people clicked on this video about impossible Lego animations, let's just like double check on this creator as well to see, like, is it that every single video they make gets 13 million? No, but like, yeah, this person gets a lot of views on Lego animations. That tells me that there's enough people who understand what a Lego animation is. So for the idea itself, I'm down with this. Cool. Now let's look at the title. Can I animate Lego blindfolded? I think that's completely fine. I think even like I tried animating Lego blindfolded, or like I tried blindfolded Lego animations, perhaps, because then the word blindfolded is earlier in the title versus later. But I do like the capitalization of blindfolded. All right. Now let's talk about the thumbnail. And I think this is where we have the most opportunity for improvement. Thumbnail. I like the different elements that you have here. I like that there's you. I like that there's some sort of thing covering you, at least covering your eyes. I like that we have like some sort of like studio setup. I like that we have Legos and we can see that they're Legos. The elements that you have are here. I think it's more of the composition and maybe coloring that we can work with. I want the main character to be the Lego. Right now, the first thing that I see is you, but I can't really tell that it's you. It takes me a couple seconds to understand that you have a bag over your head. I think the idea of a bag over your head is funny. I think it could be a lot clearer, though, if we just see a blindfold over your eyes. You say blindfolded, it's like in thumbnails, we want instant recognition of what is happening. So I think blindfold over your eyes versus Trader Joe's bag over the head is going to be better for that. Legos need to be the main character. Legos need to be like the thing that is closest to us, the thing that we see first. They need to be much bigger. They probably need to be closer to the screen. And I want to like be able to see what these Lego guys are like instantly. Right now I can kind of like, right now they look like toys, but they don't look like Lego in your face. And I would also say that even like your background right now is very gray. And because we want so much more emphasis on the Legos, I would say that like Lego plate that you have underneath you, I want that to be green. Like I want this to be some sort of like pop of color to really bring attention to this main stage. And I want to do something interesting with this thumbnail that I haven't done on stream yet, but we're going to do it now. So get ready, guys. Get ready. Get ready. Okay. This is 1 of 10. And 1 of 10 is a tool that I've been using for many, many years. I used to just use them for outliers, which is like finding different videos that have overperformed within their channel. And so I like using that to help validate ideas or get more inspiration for ideas. But recently, 1 of 10 came out with this thumbnail generator, and it is crazy. And I'll show you. So there's this creator named Isaac Carlton, and let me see if I can show you. One second. Isaac Carlton's channel, in case you're not familiar. So this is Isaac Carlton, and he completely different niche, but he makes these really cool filmmaking challenges. And this really reminded me of Owen's Lego challenge, because what Owen is doing with Lego animation feels very similar to a lot of the challenges that Isaac is doing with filmmaking. And you can kind of see like this is the style that he has. It's very clear when I say like things like main character versus supporting character. See how close to the camera and how like front this Stranger Things little guy is, and like the thing around them. Isaac is there, but he's very much in the background. And so what I want to see if 1 of 10 can do is take Isaac Carlton's like thumbnail style and see if like just kind of what compositions it can come up with for this title, like this idea that we're doing with. So I'm literally just like, can I animate Lego blindfolded? And I'm just going to see what it comes up with. It's going to generate 4 of them. I don't know what it's going to come up with, but I've been using this for myself and for friends recently. And a lot of the compositions have been honestly fire. If you've seen the thumbnail for this particular stream, it is also like based off of a composition that 1 of 10 just generated for me. So using AI for good, folks. But I just want to see what it does with this. As we wait for that to happen, because it says it can take up to 2 minutes, I'm going to read, more of this. Okay, wait, more of what this happens here. Okay. People saying instead of arrow pointing at him with me, it should be text to point out the difficulty of the challenge, 100 hours. Ooh, I like that. It's like having just me. It's like, okay, like we can kind of tell that that's you. So what else can we use this thumbnail text for? All right. This is what we have here. And as we do that, I'm just gonna generate 4 more just for fun. But we can look at these here. So these thumbnail animations, and again, this is like in the style of Isaac Carlton. It's gonna show Isaac Carlton here. But what are some things that we're seeing? I like having a camera really close. I think that's something that we were missing from the original thumbnail. Is like we see like lights around it, but can we see like a camera there? I like the addition of a camera. In this one over here, we have like a camera and some sort of lights, which I like. And I don't really love the pile of Legos. I think that gets confusing. But oh, we got more. We'll get there in a second. But you can see how much closer to the camera these Legos are. And I like that. And so I think like I would do something, yeah, like even like this, but that even bigger with like you blindfolded, you having like a camera that we see on the thumbnail, a much bigger like Lego plate and bigger Lego guys. And some sort of, I don't think I would use like blind, like maybe can't see. I like can't see as a potential thumbnail text, potentially even like the question mark or something to like make you confused that's put on there. But that's kind of, I do like a lot of these things. Okay. Joelle, you have something to say, I think, because I'm going to add you to the stage.
Yeah, I think my main point there was looking at the difference between these test thumbnails versus the original. I think one of the most apparent things is how you can immediately tell or get closer to what this video is about just by looking at the thumbnail without the title. And so I think that's typically what we want to look at, because again, we have audiences have limited time to choose what they want to watch. They have a million choices. So the clearer we can make that, the better. So essentially I like that. And I also like that with that, what it allows is the title now doesn't have to just explain to us what the video is, because that creates friction of just like, oh, this thumbnail stops me and then I have to understand what this is. I read the title. Now the title can just enhance that curiosity and provide further reasons to click on the video versus carrying the full load of, oh, I have to explain exactly what this video I'm doing here. And I think that's really clear in this example here.
100%. And like that's why I love the concept of like him being blindfolded. I like how 1 of 10 put like a light and a camera on this in one. I think if you do it this way, like you don't need to have like you can have your normal background here, but there should be some sort of color contrast between what's on front versus what is behind. So in this particular example, which I do really like, I feel like you can recreate this pretty easily. If you want to have a green background, you can keep the plate in front of you as gray. If you want a green background, which I would suggest, then the background behind you can just be your room or something more gray to create that color contrast. But just what Joelle was saying is like, you can tell literally from this image by itself without the title what this video is going to be about. And I think that is like a great like litmus test for your thumbnail of like whether it's a strong thumbnail or not. The Lego guys being real close helps for sure. By the way, 1 of 10 is a channel partner. I genuinely have been raving about this to my friends. And if you want to try it out for yourself, we do have a link for 20% off that I think is in the description of the live. I think it's just banger 20 with my link. So if you want to try it out for yourself, we'll, I think, use 1 of 10 a couple more times in this live stream just to see what it does, because I think it can be genuinely useful. Like literally, if I scroll down, you can see that I've used it for different things with myself. But I genuinely think that this is crazy for coming up with different compositions that you can visualize to try things out for yourself. All right. That's that. Remove. Add to Sage. Thank you so much, Owen, for submitting. And thank you, everybody, for all of your thoughts on this as well. Okay, great. Next up, we have this one. This is, if you're looking to transform your finances in 2026, watch this. So here we have a before and an after. We have 2023 broke. We have 2026, $100,000. All right. Let's think about this idea. The creator said that this video idea, I don't think she added any additional context here. So what we get is what we get. Okay. Here, let's talk about the idea itself. I think the concept of like transforming your finances, or I guess improving your finances or making more money, is always going to be a great one. A lot of people a lot of people want more money, and a lot of people want more money relatively quickly or want more money today. And so I think the concept of doing it like in 2026, in this year, I think that's a good idea as a whole. And however, I think kind of similarly to the self-worth one that we looked at a little bit ago, I think we need some sort of unique angle here to make it a little bit more clickable. Because like transform your finances in 2026, to me, that feels really broad. Like, what does that really mean? Also, it says in 2026, but in the thumbnail, we have 2023 as a before and 2026 as an after. That shows a 3-year long transformation versus I think for this particular angle, like people want it now, they want it this year, they want it sooner versus 3 years. So I would say that like, I do think that even though we're in March, I think you can still get away with a 2020, in 2026 type of angle. I think that we're still early enough in the year that you can do that. But I would say maybe like a specific timeline, like how to transform your finances in like 3 months or in 90 days. I think can like pare it down a little bit more tangibly, perhaps, to help people understand. I think that the 2026 angle could still potentially work, but I'm also not sold on the word transform. Because what does that really mean? Like things can be transformed in a lot of ways. I like, so what Parlak said is like, watch this to become rich in 2026. I think the word rich can help. although I don't think that that's the type of video that she's making. And also, I think when it comes to being rich, you need to have the credibility to say that you're rich. So for her, for instance, I think instead of rich, it could be like $100K plus per year, for instance. But yeah, I think it's like it's not really like for something like this, we want the result or the outcome to be very tangible. Again, thinking about de-risking that click. What are people going to get when they click on this video? If they're uncertain about what they're going to get, they're probably not going to watch, especially if you're a smaller creator who doesn't already have a lot of views on your video. And so for this, it's like you don't really know kind of what you're going to get, versus if we pare it down to like if you want to like work for yourself by the end of 2026, watch this. It's like, okay, very, very clear transformation here. Right now, you don't work for yourself. Maybe you have a 9 to 5, but you want to. And by the end of the year, you're going to know everything that you have and have done the things to be able to work for yourself. And that's what you're going to get when you click on this video. So that's something that I think we can tweak a little bit here. And then when it comes to the thumbnail, I see I similarly to what Film Score and more just said, it's like I like that the images convey some sort of some sort of emotion, like with the sad and like the happier at peace, but they do feel a little bit flat. Again, I also don't love the 2023 to 2026 is like a 3-year long thing, which I don't think people are going to want. I don't think you need the years. I think you can just like broke and then maybe like 100,000. I would even kind of shrink that maybe and see if we can fit $100,000 per year or something like that to kind of like help contextualize it. And I would agree. I would want to see some sort of difference in what that looks like before and after. I wonder if I don't know if there are any creators that a creator that kind of comes to mind who does this sometimes is Better Ideas. It's tough. I don't know how 1 of 10 is going to handle this because let's just say if you want to make 100K per year by the end of 2026, watch this. Better Ideas, if you're familiar with the channel, I can show you as we're waiting for this. Has 2 different thumbnail styles that he's used before. Like the one that I'm thinking about is like this type of thing where there's like a before and an after. And you can kind of see this here. And I'm hoping that 1 of 10 will generate me some things like this. I could probably give it a reference image, honestly, but it might generate one of this, which would not be very useful for us in this case. I want to see if I can maybe give it this. Layla Hormozi makes similar content. Let's see Layla Hormozi's channel and see if we can get any inspo here too. Nice. Yeah, let's I do like this. Let's see if I can add her to this. Yeah, see, this is just using him. Manage channel. Is it just Layla Hormozi? Hold. Great. Okay, back to the thumbnail generator. Let's try Layla. Same sort of title. If you want to make 100K per year by the end of 2026, watch this. As this generates, I saw someone in the chat saying, who was it? Like the fear angle instead, like unless you want to stay broke in 2026, watch this. I do like this angle as well. I think that there's the 3 main click triggers that I like to think about when it comes to packaging is curiosity, fear, and desire. Curiosity is kind of that question of like, what happens next question. A result, like a desire is like the desire for a particular result, and fear is like avoiding something that you don't want. And I do think that like the fear angle could work well here as well. All right. So we got some potential like Lilo Hermosi types of styles coming in quickly. I like the concept of like your exact plan. I think that when it comes to like an angle of, oh, I didn't even share the right tab. Oops. Share this tab instead. Okay, we got some ones from Layla that came in here too. I like the angle here of like your exact map or your exact plan. I think that that's very interesting to people. I think that's like a great angle to pursue as well. Because once again, if we think about the original creator, like what she put is like, if you're looking to transform your finances, again, vague, broad, versus like follow this exact plan to make 100K per year by the end of 2026. It's like, okay, we know exactly what we're going to get when we click on this video. I like this more. Broke, put like a minus, like images of a bank account. I do think that like a bank account before and after could be the vibe. I want to see what it does if we go back to better ideas. And then add like a reference image. Upload new images. Nobody look at this. Look away. Look away. I don't know. I feel weird whenever I go into like my system files and like add something. Okay. Generate. I put that like that before and after style of thumbnail into it from Better Ideas to see if maybe it does something with that. But yeah, I think the concept of stupidly rich, that can work for some. I think it depends a lot on whenever we think about packaging, we also want to think about brand. I know for like Alex Hormozy type of brand, when you want to feel more authoritative, you want to feel more like in your face and loud and proud about it, something like stupidly rich could work really well for you. But if you want a more laissez-faire approach to it, or you want, that's just not your vibe, you don't have to. So yeah. Anyway, that's thoughts there. I don't think What I'm Ten is doing a great job with this, with the before and after. It is a horizontally, but yeah, I like the like your exact plan. I like the concept of broke, maybe like a $0 in your bank account sort of imagery to after. And it doesn't even have to be that in your face. I think broke can just be enough to be like kind of sad and maybe in your room, and that can be enough. And like the 100K per year could be like you just like in nicer clothes walking like on the street and like a more confident posture. I feel like that's a mistake that a lot of people make when it comes to thinking about before and after images. They're like, oh, like it has to be so explicit, when a lot of us can just like get by just like the Better Images one that we were looking at before. Not Better Images, Better Ideas. It's not, let me show you it again. For this one, like he didn't have the before being like $0 in your bank account and depressed and like live in a cardboard box and like all of these other very in your face imagery. And the after isn't like leaning on my Ferrari as like a very in your face sort of like, look how good my life is. But I think you can get away with a lot of subtlety there. All right. I think we spent enough time on this one. Let's move on. Okay. Very different type of video here again. Can a Skyrim guard afford to buy a home? From Tim. Tim, thank you for submitting your idea here. Let's talk about the idea. Okay. Skyrim, I know, is a very popular game. I know that for a lot of creators, like there's this creator I watched called Doug, and he does lots of different challenges with lots of different types of games. And I know that his Skyrim related videos just overperform all of the rest of games that he makes videos about. It's like that and GTA just like get a ton of views. So yeah, I think that having like Skyrim, I like as a basis here. And the concept of like, can a Skyrim guard afford to buy a home? I think that's really interesting. I think the idea that the creator said more about this is an entertaining application of real world budgeting for a video game NPC using a combination of in game lore and real world comps to build out the framework. So it's like this analysis of like how much is the Skyrim guard making and can he afford to buy a home? I like it. I like it a lot. Sweet. Okie dokie. Then for the title, I think it's very clear. Can a Skyrim guard afford to buy a home? I think this is pretty clear. I think that it's, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. I like it. Okay. And then the thumbnail, I think, is when we can talk about it a little bit more. I think when it comes to this particular thumbnail, I like that we see a home. I like that we see the Skyrim guard. And I like the different elements. I like that we have a for sale sign and perhaps having like a starter home. But I think that the composition, again, if we think about main character, supporting character, I want this for sale sign to be a lot bigger. Right now, I cannot read what's on the sign. I can read the for sale, but I don't know what's on it at all. And I would make it a lot bigger in front of this house so we can actually see what's in this. The for sale 500 blends in too much. Absolutely Parlax. Sales for sale being too small. 100% Arcadin. Different guard up close, look shadowed. I do like this pose of the defeated look. I wonder if we can add a little bit more color to him, a little bit more brightness. Right now he's almost completely silhouetted because of how dark he is. I want to look at his features a little bit more, look at his outfit a little bit more here. And in terms of starter home, I do like the concept of a starter home. I don't know if like this particular text hard to read. I think that I think we can maybe just merge it with the sign. So make the sign a lot bigger, maybe have like starter home and then for sale and then 500 or 5,000. Yeah, I know that there's this like in-game unit there. I do like having an in-game unit, but again, right now it's just way too small to be able to read. I think you're really close with this one though, Tim. Like I think that it's close. It's just small tweaks to make it more easily understandable from the moment that you glance at it. All right. Amazing. Film Score does like, do we even need the text? Potentially not. I do think that, yeah, if the for sale sign is a lot bigger, I would look at it with the text and without the text. I don't think the colors are bad. I think that the for sale sign, maybe instead of like the wood, like have it be like a red behind it. And in the white text, I think that can like make it pop a little bit more because I do think that there's this concept of this contrast between things that are in game and things that are not. Like in general, for lots of different types of thumbnails, the idea of like contrast can add to clickability a lot. Like can we create this tension between A and B, between what we want and what we currently have, between what already exists and what we're adding. And so I think that like the more obvious you can make this for sale sign of like, oh, this is not part of the game. Like the house is part of the game. The guard is part of the game. They can look a certain way. The for sale sign is something that's not part of the game. So that creates that tension, that juicy tension that makes us click. We want to exaggerate that. So I think like updating the colors for that difference, for that for sale sign can help add to this click. Great. Amazing. And as Joelle said too, by the way, just overall heads up, because I see a lot of people asking about getting their videos reviewed. We've had reviews open, like their form open for like a week-ish. If you're not on my email list, join the email list, because that's where a lot of people hear about it first. Things have already been submitted at this point. So we ask that you don't ask for your stuff to be reviewed. However, if you find this sort of thing interesting and you think that you would benefit from working closely with myself and my team, we do have a program that is currently open for enrollment right now called 90-Day Breakthrough. It is a 12-week long, very structured program, and there's a lot that's part of it. You're like in a team with other creators who are at the same size as you. There's a combination of video lessons that you watch and live sessions, both around creative well-being and also like specific execution sessions to help you execute everything that we teach in the lessons themselves. And the spring cohort is open for enrollment now. Enrollment ends in 7 days. So if you want to work closely with us for the next 12 weeks to work on your YouTube channel and have a great time, you can apply using the link in the video description and in the pinned tweet. Woohoo. Okay. All right. Is it one-on-one for 90-Day Breakthrough? It is not one-on-one, but it is in small groups. So your particular team is probably going to be no bigger than 15 people within your team with your team lead. Okie dokie. Let's look at the next one. Okay. This is from Valerie. And Valerie said, I tried Pilates for 30 days. Is it worth it? Great. Let's think about the idea here. I think idea is great. I think that Pilates is really hot right now. I think Pilates has been hot for a while. And the concept of like trying it for 30 days yourself, I love that as a challenge. I love the extended period of time and the concept of like seeing whether or not it's worth it. I will kind of question, what does "is it worth it" mean? And we'll get to this more as we talk about the idea for the packaging. But like, what makes exercise worth it? Like, is it like the cost that's going to be? Is it worth it? Is it like the time invested in like? Yeah. So like that's something that I would potentially consider. But I do like this idea. Real quick, I want to answer a question from Janice, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. What if my channel is in a different language for 90-Day Breakthrough? That works. Last cohort, we had a student who has his entire channel in Spanish. All that you need to do is just make sure that either like English captions and or dubs are enabled on your channel. So your strategist can review, like can give feedback for you. And your submissions, when you submit them, are in English. And otherwise, that is good. Okie dokie. So that's this idea. And Film Score and More said, again, good idea, self-help challenge. I like it. Okay. I think I would now let's go into packaging, title, and thumbnail. I think I don't, for the reasons that I said, I'm not sure how I feel about the "is it worth it." I think that a really good comp for this is Makari SB. If you haven't seen Makari's channel, would recommend. She's like I think she's like a great example of a creator who blew up pretty recently, like in the last maybe 2 years. And her channel was one that came to mind when I saw this, because she has also done a lot of these, like, you know, I tried running for 30 days. This is what happened sort of thing. I know someone said, here's what happened, or this is what happened in the chat. So yes, I think that I like having the "this is what happened." I know it's worked for Makari. Something else that I've liked from Makari, I want to see if like "this is what happened" worked again for cycling. "This is what happened" worked here for her as well. So I do think that there's a lot of validation for, I tried Pilates for 30 days. This is what happened. We have a lot of validation there. When I say validation, that just means proof of prior success. It means that there's proof that somebody somewhere has done this framing before and it's worked for them. Maybe it's overperformed for them. I liked this framing as well. It's like I walked 30,000 steps a day for 1 week to feel something. It's like, can you add another angle there of like, I tried Pilates for 30 days to feel something, or like to something else that's more personal to you, to add a little bit of like personality and zing to your title. I think that can be a great option here as well. Bye, Parlax. Thank you so much for participating. Really appreciate it. Okie dokie. And Film Score More said, thoughts on questions and titles, and avoiding it because statements perform better. I think questions can work. I think it can work. I do generally lean towards statements more, and maybe adding the questions as subtext in your thumbnails if you can. Cool. Is this your first live? It's my third live ever. Fun fact, this is completely off topic, but we're homies here. Fun fact about April Lynn. Did y'all know that back in, I think 2021, I tried Twitch streaming for like a month. It was a time. I hated it. I streamed Hearthstone, which, if you're not familiar, is it's like a deck playing card game run by Blizzard. It's kind of like Magic the Gathering, but different. And yeah, I streamed Hearthstone. I was good at it. I got rank legend like multiple times, but yeah, I'm not built for this. I can keep this up for maybe like 90 minutes, 2 hours max, and then I'm just like, whew, no one talked to me for the rest of the day. So yeah, that's some fun April and lore for you there. Okie dokie. Back to the topic at hand. Trying Pilates for 30 days. So I think we're all aligned on idea. I think we're all aligned on like title. Now let's talk about a thumbnail. There's a lot going on in this thumbnail, Valerie. There are some things that I like. I like how you have a day 1, day 30. This composition has worked for a lot of people. I am behind it. Great work there. I do think that there's a lot going on in this thumbnail. We have in general, there's this concept of like a 3-element rule. So can we have try to have 3 main things on your thumbnail? So for Macari, for instance, there's like a before, an after, and a text element. Here, let's count the elements. We have your before, we have your after, we have you in the middle, you have your text element up at the top, and you have your text element down in the bottom. So that's 5 different elements, and that's a lot for us to look at when we look at this thumbnail. So instead, how can we pare it down? I don't think we need this is what's happened in your thumbnail. I think that can just, as we talked about, be moved down to the title text. I don't think you need you in the middle there too. I think we can just have a day 1 and a day 30. If you do this though, we need to make sure that the images in your day 1 and your day 30 are significantly different. And we can see that difference in a glance as soon as we look at your thumbnail. So in this case, you kind of look like you're struggling in the before. The after, you're more horizontal. But to someone who has, you have to keep in mind that most people who watch this video will have not done Pilates themselves yet. And to someone who is looking at you like this, at least to me, I can't really instantly tell what the difference is between day 1 and day 30. It just looks like you're doing one pose on day 1 and you're doing a different pose in day 30. I can't tell that you seem more advanced yet. So I would really think about what is a better day 1 pose and maybe day 30 pose to make it clear that in the before you're like a noob. Maybe you're not even on the machine. Maybe you're sitting down next to the machine looking nervous. And then on day 30, you're doing a complex movement on the reformer. So that's one option that you can do. I want to see what 1 of 10 would do with this. So let's go back to 1 of 10. Let's put in Macari, since we're kind of using that as a comp here. And it's I tried Pilates for 30 days. This is what happened. And let's just see if it can come up with but maybe a before and after concept that we can check out there. Sudesh said, think she also needs to simplify the title for broader viewers. Most people want to be fit, never even heard of that term to click on it. I would probably disagree here. I know that like Pilates in general has been hot recently. I think a lot of people have heard of the concept of Pilates. So yeah, I think this is interesting here too. We can see this kind of like the generations that we're getting here. Oh, I am not sharing. Guys, if I'm not sharing the right screen, you have to yell at me for it. Otherwise I can go on forever about this. Okay. 1 of 10 was looking at Makari's channel for some things there. And we have like a day 1, day 30. Ooh, I do think that, so we have a couple of different contrasts here that you could consider incorporating into your own thumbnail. So one type of contrast, we're thinking about like the difference between day 1 and day 30. Day 1, maybe you don't have the reformer machine in there with you. Maybe you're just doing it on a mat on the floor. And the machine, which feels more complex, comes in on day 30 and you're using it in a nice pose. I like that concept. There's a difference in expression here. You may already have a difference in expression in yours. I think it's just a little too small, so I can't see your expression, which is important too, is if you're doing a different expression, like your face needs to be big and like, okay, just when it comes to like thumbnail concepts in general, way back in the olden days of YouTube, everyone was like, oh, you need to have some sort of exaggerated thumbnail face for your thumbnail. That's why it's like, there's like that, right? Like all of the thumbnails have some sort of exaggerated face. You don't need that. There's plenty of examples of videos and thumbnails that perform really well with a more neutral face. And actually the psychology behind neutral faces is really fascinating. There was a study done with different types of emotions, and people can self-insert into neutral faces a lot more. So there was a study done where people were shown different people's faces that were just neutral, and then told that this person had just witnessed or watched different things, ranging from happy things to sad things, etc. And what people thought the expression this very neutral face was making was different depending on the context that they viewed it in. So all this to say, neutral faces can work really well on thumbnails, especially if you want the viewer to be able to kind of self-insert their own emotion into your neutral face. However, there is also the case for more emotional faces being used in thumbnails. I think emotional faces are scroll stoppers because we're biologically wired to, especially when it comes to like fear or excitement or exaggerated expressions, we're biologically wired to pick up on it because that's how like our body tells us that there might be danger nearby. So that can work as like a scroll stopper, but it only works if your face is big enough in the thumbnail for us to actually see that expression in the first place. So yes. There is that. Okay, so with this being said here, I like the contrast of facial expression. I like the contrast of floor versus on the reformer. And I like this contrast here of like kind of rumpled, wrinkly, not very cute workout clothes to like super cute workout clothes. And that's like a very clear visual transformation that people also see. So Valerie, when you're thinking about your thumbnail here too, those are different ways in which you can like very quickly show a difference between day 1 and day 30. So hopefully that helps. Way back in the long ago. Exactly the olden times. Okie doke. I'm taking questions, but not more video submissions. So if you have questions about any of the concepts that I'm talking about, feel free to ask. But if you're asking like, oh, like, can you review my thumbnail? We're not doing more of those besides what have already been submitted. Okie dokie. Can you redesign the thumbnails you are showing here? I mean, you can. I don't know if I can show them. I'm pretty new to streaming, so right now I don't know how to show anything other than Chrome and a PowerPoint, like a Google Slides. But you have recommendations for a weekly sports vlog style video? I'm sorry, Climb Plastic Rocks. I would have to see an example. But hopefully, again, even if like your exact video type is not within the videos that we're selecting, you can get something out of it that can be applicable to you. All right, speaking of which, let's go to the next one. Okay. This is from Mia Thomas, and it says, they failed norm. Okay. I guess before I do anything, before I say anything, just quick poll of you guys who are here. Do you know what this means? Do you know who these characters are? Do you know what this means? And I'm just going to pause. I'm not going to get impatient. I'm going to pause and I'm going to wait until you reply to me. Just a quick poll. Like, yes, I know. No, I don't know. Okay, it's Zalix says no. Patrick says no. Prideberry said Fallout. Tori says no. Avery says yes. So we have a couple people know that it's Fallout, and a lot of people say that it's not. So for Mia, I would say this is good information, because there's a question of, who are you making this video for? Is this video just for people who are interested in Fallout and are already very familiar with Fallout, the show? Like, not even just Fallout the game, but Fallout the show, I think. Someone who knows more, say that in the chat. Like, is this from the game or is this from the show? Like, I guess, like, would you know this from the game or would you know this just from the show? EduCraft, yay! I'm so grateful to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing. And thanks so much, Andy, for share. Okay, so it's a show. Thank you, Prideberry. Yes. Okay, so I think that, like, if it's just for fans of the show, you can probably get away with this. If you wanted to broaden your audience a little bit more for people who are interested in films, oh my gosh, Red Dramina, thank you so much for the super thanks. That's so kind. Thank you so much. There's a concept of, like, again, TAM. We have this inner circle of people who have seen Fallout the show. Then there's this broader circle of people who maybe would still be interested in this video because they're interested in film, they're interested in cinema, even if they haven't seen the show yet. And depending on which audience you want to target, which would affect your TAM, you could frame this video differently. So right now, Mia said that this video is about a character breakdown analysis of a Fallout character, Norm, how he was failed by everyone around him, family, community, and the world, and how it shaped him. You could get away with something like this, but I'm going to show you this example of this creator named Pavel. Pavel actually was in a previous cohort of my YouTube coaching program, and he crushed it. He was awesome. And something that he got away from, I think, like when he was earlier in his journey, he would talk about specific anime. So context on Pavel, he would make kind of similar like video essays, but around the world of anime versus like film and cinema by itself. And in this case here, it's like you can see what he kind of like looked like before when it was like specific animes. It kind of worked, but a lot of his most popular videos were about character archetypes, like villains or like depictions of sins, or about like sequels, right? Like white hair. Like these are like character archetypes or plot archetypes or themes where even if you're not familiar with the specific IP that's being talked about, if you're a fan of of anime as a whole or with these plot or character archetypes, you might still want to watch. So here in this case, like for this Fallout one. I wonder, and again, I don't know enough about, I'm not a big movie buff. I watch maybe like 3 movies a year, but I wonder if there's like a specific, anyone who knows more about movies can tell me if there's like a specific archetype for this particular character. It could even be like when like I don't know, when characters are portrayed by their friends. I don't know. That's like a bad answer, but like that's I guess like a different reframe that I just want to give you as an option, or anyone who does something similar when it comes to like specific IP versus broadening it out to like anyone who is interested in the category as a whole. That's something that you could think about. But let's take this for what it is, assuming that it's just for fans of Fallout. We have they fail Norm. This creator also said that another option is Norm was failed. And this is hard for me because like I haven't watched this very much. But I think this kind of works. I do think it's a little bit vague to me. They failed Norm. Like I don't really know. Yeah, again, I don't know anything about Norm. I don't know anything about Fallout. But if this feels clear to people who have seen the show, maybe it's clear enough. But like even just the concept of, because like I'm thinking about Draco Malfoy. I don't know if Draco is in any way similar to Norm, but I'm like similarly to like in Harry Potter, Draco like was maybe like failed by people around him. I'm gonna look at 1 of 10 again. 1 second. And this time I'm gonna look at outliers because I want to see if anything like Draco, like they failed, they failed Draco Malfoy, and just see if anyone has made anything along these same lines with a more popular character. I don't know. So this is 1 of 10. What we're doing is we're looking for outliers. So these are videos that have overperformed what a channel normally does and seeing if anything comes up here. I'm not really seeing anything. There's like house. I'm not really seeing anything here that like draws any inspiration for me here. Maybe there's like a different framing of this or a different character that is more similar. But I don't know, Joelle, I'm gonna bring you on screen. You brought something up.
Hey, yeah, I just pulled up there. I saw one. It was called like the Draco Malfoy analysis, and it talked about just like redemption necessary. So that was like an example I did find. But I think overall, it's more so about how like what you think about here is how do you create interest for someone that maybe hasn't watched the show or isn't like a super fan of Norm or the show, in a sense of just the most misunderstood character of this TV show, or the side character that became the main character, and those are just like elements that still create curiosity. Even if I know nothing about this, it's like, oh, I'm now interested in figuring out more about this character, and maybe even watching the show.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Like the word misunderstood, they failed Norm. Yeah, I like misunderstood or side character. Avery Strange said, curious if it'd be worth adding the show title to the title for SEO. When it comes to SEO with the title, also we're at 10:30, which means that we should be wrapping this up soon. I mean, we're at 10:31. Oh no. But real quick, I'll answer this question about like search and browse. I think if you want to optimize your title for search, there has to be the question of, are people searching for this? Like, do you think that people are active? Like, do you think that most of the people who watch this video are going to be people who have specifically searched for Fallout and Norm? I would argue that I think most people who watch this video would be people who are fans of the show, who maybe have seen other movie analysis or character analysis types of videos. So it's in their history, and this shows up either in their suggested or in their homepage. I do like the concept of having the word Fallout there too, because like even if you are familiar with Fallout, you might need to be like, you might not instantly get this as Fallout-y at first glance. Like, I mean, I'm thinking about, again, as like someone who barely watches movies, I've seen Dune before, but if I just see Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya, it would take me a little bit to like realize, oh, we're talking about Dune, versus if Dune was like in the title or in the thumbnail. So I think for that reason, for me, it would be less about an SEO thing and more about a instantly recognizable thing to add Fallout, either in the title or in the thumbnail. Yeah. Joel, any other thoughts about this one before I guess we wrap it up?
I think that's the main point there. I think one caveat I did want to do is also with this type of video, I think it's also important where there's different types of videos for different creators too. So I think to Mia as well, if this is just like an opinion think piece you want to share about Norm as well, like it doesn't have to be necessarily like fully optimized either, but these are like tips on like if you want to get the most eyes on it and stuff like that too, like how that might differ essentially. So you have like two paths there. If you want to cater to the Fallout and get that audience around Fallout and have those conversations going, there's one route. The other route is making it open to like someone that might not have a general audience essentially.
Nice. Love that. All right, everybody. Claps for everybody around. Thank you so much for coming to this live stream. I know I don't do these very often, but thank you for being here when we do. Again, I know I don't upload to YouTube very frequently, so I appreciate you being here. Join my email list if you aren't already on it. You join it just by like, I don't know, signing up to any of the freebies that I have on any of my videos, because this year I'm posting a lot more to my newsletter with like other stuff in between uploads. And finally, just I guess one final call out. I'm gonna go like way back to the beginning. Guys, 90-day breakthrough enrollment ends in 7 days from now. It's gonna be epic. We're gonna have 12 weeks all together. We're going to learn about all of these different skills that contribute most to success on YouTube. There's going to be lessons. There's going to be live sessions with Joelle, with me, but we have a whole entire team. You're going to have personalized feedback on every assignment that you submit over the 12 weeks, like from like a content strategist that's dedicated to you, which is crazy. This is a weekly rhythm. Everything kind of starts at 9 a.m. Pacific, but things will be recorded if you can't make it live. And like every single week, there's going to be a different assignment that you get feedback on. So teams are split out based off of your stage. You're around other creators at the same stage as you. Lots of support. 7 days. It's going to be awesome. Thank you for listening. But really, like we've worked really hard on this program, and totally okay if it's not for you. Like completely understand. It is it's an investment in watching YouTube videos. Like that's why I make YouTube videos. They are free. They're easy to consume. I genuinely think you can get pretty far just watching YouTube videos. But if you want an extra push, if you want more accountability, more direct support, working with us like live, having feedback on everything that you submit, this is just an option that we are providing. And the Spring cohort ends enrollment in 7 days. So yes, thank you. Thank you, everybody. And hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Again, thanks so much for coming. Really appreciate you. Check out 1 of 10 if you haven't already. We have a discount code in the description, but I think I'm just yapping at this point. Thank you so much, Yesterval. Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you, Keegan. Thank you, Tori. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone who showed up. Thanks, Prideberry, and have a great rest of your day. All right. Bye, guys. See ya.
Bye, everyone.